Browns with a 14-6 lead as we begin the third quarter. A lot of highlights in the first half, especially for the Cleveland Browns. And look at the two touchdowns. William Green first, running over the right side, and then it's Dennis Northcutt.
And you see the draw to the wide receiver, getting some big blocks downfield. But I think the Saints are surprised at how quick Dennis Northcutt was.
Well, when you look at this game, the Saints have had all kinds of opportunities. Mr. Brooks, rather, not playing his best football, and they've also turned it over a number of times.
Saints are flat. Turnovers, penalties, they just don't have that sense of urgency. The Browns on the road, aggressive, playing great both sides of the ball. They just it feels like their head's in the game.
Let's take a look at the statistics from the first half.
And I think the thing that stands out right there, turnovers, points off the Browns, getting that big 7 off those Saints turnovers. And Saints are lucky they haven't got gashed for more.
Saints 1 of 6 on third down conversions. And here are the miscues.
Aaron Brooks is having the ball slip out of his hand, and Michael Lewis trying to field a short punt. And then late in the half, Anthony Henry picking the ball and doing a great job keeping his feet in.
So back at the Superdome in New Orleans, 14-6, the Browns lead the Saints. We're ready to begin the third quarter. New Orleans will have it to begin the quarter. There's Aaron Brooks, 11 of 20, 195 yards, no touchdowns, and an interception. In the red zone, only 2 field goals on 4 opportunities.
We talk all the time about needing touchdowns in the red zone. That's not even the worst scenario. Should be at least 4 field goals. And that's what happens when you turn the ball over.
Phil Dawson kicking from the 30. Michael Lewis back. Line drive. That one heading into the end zone for a touchback. Saints will start from their own 20-yard line. And they haven't gotten anything out of their running game with Deuce McAllister on the sideline because of that high ankle sprain. Only 17 yards rushing for the Saints in the first half. Cleveland had 93 yards rushing.
And you know what that allows this Browns defense to do? It allows the front 4 to pin their ears back and say, hey, we're going to get after Aaron Brooks. More stunts, more blitzes. Hey, we know that they've got to pass the ball to get back in this game.
First down and 10. Brooks firing to Fenderson out of the backfield. Nice cut. And he picks up about 7 yards on the play. Earl Holmes in on the tackle, along with Darren Hambrick. Jerome Pathan is back in the game after suffering that big hit from Brant Boyer in the first half. He lines up at the top of your screen. Second down and 3 at the 27. They stretch it out to Curtis Keaton, and Keaton gets to the 30, close to a first down.
And you see with Curtis Keaton right there, of course, has some quickness and can hit the hole, just not as much size as a Deuce McAllister. And you see the running back yards here for the Saints. Not a whole lot going on. And you got to give some credit to this front 7 of the Cleveland Browns. They're playing very aggressive.
Third down and 1 from the 29. Brooks straight ahead on the quarterback sneak, and he should have enough. We were kidding with Aaron Brooks yesterday when he walked in the meeting, and I said to him, I said, Aaron, nice to see you again. You're the 4th best quarterback in the Virginia Beach area. And he said, 4th? What are you talking about?
He was fired up. He was going to come across the table and grab you.
No, not at all.
Yeah, he was.
I said, Michael Vick's little brother, and Allen Iverson, and he burst out laughing. First down and 10 at the 30. Here's the handoff, and Fenderson. A lot of great athletes coming out of that Virginia Beach area. We call these the Beach Boys. Aaron Brooks from Newport News, Dre Bly, who plays with the Rams. Plexico Burress having a Pro Bowl type season with the Pittsburgh Steelers. Michael Vick, of course. An honorable mention, how about AI, Allen Iverson, who was All-State and the High School Football Player of the Year his senior year in high school, as well as the High School Basketball Player of the Year.
Aaron Brooks did say, though, if you're talking about quarterbacking specifically, he was the best.
Second down and 9 at the 31. Play action, Brooks fires over the middle, and it's caught. They get to the 35. Lamont Hall, backup tight end, with a 4-yard gain.
And it just feels like this Saints offense is in a little disarray without Deuce McAllister, and really their go-to guy when Deuce hasn't been the guy carrying him. It's been Joe Horn. Joe Horn's been a little bit quiet thus far. A lot of coverage going his way, a little double coverage. And
makes it 3rd down and 5 at the 35. They need to go to the 40 for a first down. Brooks out of the shotgun to the sideline, broken up. Great job by Devin Bush, stretching out and knocking it down. Devin Bush stretching out.
And you got to respect Devin Bush so much, and makes a great play here, diving and stretching out, but had one heck of an effort on the kickoff team last week, saved a touchdown against the Bengals and allowed for this Browns team to have that goal line stand. And Gus, all in the same week when he was demoted as a starter. Robert Griffith came back, but that's just the type of attitude this Browns team.
And they fake it. The Saints fake it and pick up the first down. Fred McAfee on the short snap gains 11. So Coach Haslett doing whatever he needs to do to get some kind of emotion going with this New Orleans team.
And here's McAfee, the up guy, and they faked me out too. I was still talking about Devin Bush. The snap goes right to him, figures out the hole, block the defenders inside. Nice cutback by McAfee, and keeps his feet moving and gets the first down.
Andre Davis with an opportunity to bring him down, and the Saints get a first down on the fake punt. Their longest run of the day, 11 yards. First down and 10 at the 46. Here's Keaton over the left side. Gets to the 49. Orpheus Roy jumping on him.
Boy, and how many times today have we talked about Orpheus Roy or Courtney Brown or Kennard Lang? And that's good stuff if you're a Browns fan, because these guys have been all over the rush today, keeping that Saints rushing game down to a minimum and getting some great pressure on Aaron Brooks.
Second down, 8 at the 48. Brooks to the sideline, throws a strike. Pathan cradling it and picks up a first down, a 16-yard gain.
And Jerome Pathan's been a key acquisition for this New Orleans Saints offense, coming over from the Indianapolis Colts. And you're going to see him run the square out right here, dip inside and get back out, cutting off the corner route and doing a nice job of getting down and cradling that ball before getting out of bounds. They missed him here in this first half of this game, and he has really stepped up big, made some big catches for this team this year.
First catch of the game, 1st and 10 at the Cleveland 36. Another catch for Pathan, makes the first man miss. Anthony Henry finally bringing him down, along with Dalen McCutcheon after a gain of 8. So when you don't have a running game, and the other team knows you don't have a running game, from an offensive perspective, what do you do to drive the ball down the field? We know you have to pass, but how do you go about it?
Well, of course, you have to pass. One thing we haven't seen the Saints do, we haven't seen them use the screen. That will keep those pass rushers off balance a little bit. Maybe a few more screens and draws. We haven't seen that yet, but the biggest key is pass protection at this point.
And there's a draw. Keaton bottled up. Keaton breaks free, make it Fenderson, and Fenderson downed at the 17.
That's
great call, partner. That's what you do.
That's exactly right, Gus. Those are the things that you have to do to kind of mask not having Deuce McAllister in. Little quick draw, and pull the right tackle, Spencer Falau, and come in and get a block on Devin Bush, and opens up the hole, and Fenderson dances around and finds that crease. And there's Mike McCarthy, coordinator for the Saints, running that West Coast offense. but it's tough when you don't have that back hitting the holes or catching the ball out of the backfield.
1st and 10. Fenderson with a hole. Touchdown, New Orleans. James Fenderson, his first touchdown as a professional.
And I think you're going to see some Browns crash into each other. Robert Griffith had a big hit. Might have been on Kennard Lang right here. Bang! Look at that. Big shot. Fenderson sees the crease and hits it.
And how big is the fake punt looking now?
It's looking huge right now. And where all of a sudden the Saints can run the ball. And I think that Browns defense is a little tired. Of course, going for 2 right here.
Brooks throws to the corner. Incomplete. Intended for Boo Williams. Couldn't hold on.
And
nicely thrown ball.
And what a play by Robert Griffith. Timing that just perfect. Getting his arm in there, knocking the ball out, keeping the Browns lead. Impressive play by the big, strong safety.
$14 to 12 here in the 3rd quarter. A look at the drive capped off by that James Fenderson 17-yard touchdown, the first of his career. And we've got a pretty nice ball game shaping up in the Big Easy. Davis from the 2. And Davis wrapped up at the 21. McAfee with the tackle on special teams. They love the Saints in New Orleans, especially on Bourbon Street. 14 to 12, though. The Browns trying to hold on to this lead. Got a lot of time to go. 8:12 to go in the 3rd. Cleveland from the 21. They fake the reverse. Couch looking down the field. Wide open. It is caught. Dennis Northcutt. A great reception. That ball thrown short. Northcutt somehow managed to hold on.
Boy, and that was going to be a touchdown for sure, Gus. Tim Couch, nice job of faking that play action and the reverse to give him time. Watch the Saints bite. There's pressure here, and they step back and bite on that reverse, but he takes a big shot, and that ball just hangs up for a while. Watch Northcutt come back to the ball. And Jay Bellamy, you got to either catch that one or knock the receiver out. And you think Tim Couch isn't tough? Look at him standing there and take the shot from Dale Carter. Boy, Tim Couch had another split second. That was an absolute touchdown. But how about Dennis Northcutt?
40-yard reception, shaken up a little bit, trying to run it out on the sideline.
And you know the amazing thing about Dennis Northcutt coming into training camp this year, he wasn't expected to make the team. He had been that inconsistent. And boy, what an impressive young man. And you talk about it all coming together all of a sudden.
Would you please set the game clock to 7 minutes and 45 seconds?
I think that's like the 4th or 5th time today Tom's reset the game clock. He's trying to sneak into my airtime.
7 minutes, 45 seconds, please.
Hey, he is right on top of that time, though. You got to love Tom White.
Please reset game clock to 7:45. Thank you.
And the New Orleans people a little reluctant. They're saying, hey, we want to take as much time as we can. Our team is down. That's what you call home cooking.
Agent style.
First down and 10 at the 39 for the Browns. And another little conference.
Geez, we interrupt these conferences to bring you a football game.
Thank you. Here we go. Little football now.
There you go. You got to sneak a few plays in now and then.
First down and 10 at the 39. William Green. Green with a very nice first half rushing, 53 yards. Now don't forget, Wednesday, it's a special night for Survivor with only 4 episodes left. It's one episode you just can't miss. Catch Survivor on a special night Wednesday at 8, 7 Central on CBS, America's most watched network. The Superdome. You had one of your best moments here, didn't you?
A little touchdown pass from Joe Montana.
In the Super Bowl. Second down and 9 at the 38. Green reversing field, trying to get outside, and does. And William Green showing why they selected him with a first-round pick, picks up 9 yards.
And when William Green gets outside, that acceleration when he turns the corner is right now. It impacts you, and you see the Saints chasing from behind. It's just rare to get that type of speed. He can really fly. Of course, loves playing on that turf. Had so many big games at Boston College, and kind of unique that this is their only game on AstroTurf all year.
Green with 13 carries for 64 yards. First and 10 at the 28. Here's the reverse. Northcutt with the blocker, and Northcutt is crunched at the 26. A flag on the play. Dale Carter just coming up and making a great tackle. He says, I was held on the play as well.
I think Kevin Johnson was all over Dale Carter on that one. And Butch Davis had talked about this group of wide receivers for the Browns doing such a great job downfield blocking these last few weeks, especially last week. A big part of the success in the running game. You hear so much about the 8th man in the box.
And a personal foul against the Saints. Coach Haslett.
And I think that's the first time I've been gotten all season. That flag was in the vicinity of holding against the Browns, and Dale Carter got up grabbing his jersey, and I thought for sure. And Coach Haslett, you got to give him some credit. He's been pretty calm this afternoon. He hasn't lost it yet.
I think there's an ejection here.
Holding. Number 85, offense. Personal foul. Grabbing the helmet opening on the tackle on the defense. The penalty's offset. With replay, first down.
Tom White motioned as if he had kicked somebody out of the game.
Coach Haslett continuing to say, hey, we have got to be smarter and do things.
And he is brewing.
He is brewing. There's the shot, and there's...
Didn't see the face mask.
Well, you saw the hand get in there. It just looked like it skimmed across the top of the helmet. But bad break for the Saints. They would have got a hold against the Browns.
First and 10 at the 28. Green. And Green had some daylight, but that hole closed quickly. Grady Jackson jumping on him for a loss of 1.
And you were right. William Green had some daylight. You know what happens if he took 2 more steps. He was gone. Grady Jackson penetrating back and getting a nice ankle tackle right there on William Green.
And this is the first time since December of '95 that the Browns have rushed for at least 100 yards in consecutive games.
Well, they weren't around in 96, 97.
Well, I mean, it still goes all the way back to 95 and 99 when they came back. Wise guy. They dump it off. James Jackson. And Jackson gets to the 23 last week. The Browns with 140 yards rushing versus Cincinnati, 103 today.
And you Gus, you know why that's significant? You got to give credit to that offensive line. Much maligned group at the beginning of the season, even through the middle of the season. But this group has kind of come together. The cohesiveness is apparent these last few weeks, and continue to play together, communicate well. And it really shows up when you have that running game. Everything works. The play action and keeping the pass rush at bay.
Third down 6 at the 24. Here's Couch looking, firing. firing. Kevin Johnson looking for the end zone. Touchdown, Browns. KJ with the 24-yard touchdown reception. And Cleveland takes a 20-12 lead.
And that was about Tim Couch putting the ball in the spot and Sammy Knight gambling from the safety position, all or nothing shot. Watch Sammy Knight, number 29, right here, come up and cover Kevin Johnson on the crossing route, and you see him dive. And once you dive, there's no defenders behind you. Open space for KJ, takes it all the way.
Extra point is up and good. The second receiving touchdown of the season for Kevin Johnson on the crossing route, and Johnson doing a good job getting into the end zone. And the Browns take a 21-12 lead here in the third. Kevin Johnson with the 24-yard touchdown catch. And you take a look at the scoring drive, 6 plays covering 79 yards. And the Browns take a 21-12 lead over the Saints with 4:44 to go in the third. Michael Lewis back deep. Here's Lewis from the goal line. Down the sideline, lowers his shoulder, and goes out of bounds at the 25. Earl Little there to usher him out of bounds. If this street could talk, Bourbon Street, one of the major tourist attractions here in New Orleans, known for a little bit of everything. First down and 10 at 27. Here's Brooks dropping back on first down, under pressure, steps up, avoids the rush, and Brooks finally goes down at the 33. Earl Holmes with the tackle. Mark Word almost got a hand on him again.
And Gus, let's go back to that touchdown. Watch Kevin Johnson coming in motion. Watch the pick, the man-to-man coverage. Dennis Northcutt picks Dale Carter as Kevin Johnson comes up underneath, allowing Kevin Johnson to be free. Then Sammy Knight has to come out of the middle to cover him. But at this point, watch Quincy Morgan downfield in the block. We see the lane that Johnson has, but look at that. Takes his defender right out of the picture.
Over the middle, and Payton cradling it at the 47. It's ruled a catch, a gain of 13.
Boy, and Payton's come back here in the second half and really ignited the passing offense in New Orleans Saints.
Payton with 3 catches for 38 yards. There's KJ. And are those pick plays legal?
Well, man-to-man coverage. I don't think it was an intentional pick. Just Dale Carter ran into Dennis Northcutt and his defender.
First and 10 at the 47 for the Saints. Brooks over the middle again, and once again, well, they call this one an incomplete pass. Dalen McCutcheon with a nice hit on Jerome Payton. And I believe McCutcheon injured himself as he heads to the sideline.
Boy, what a hit by Dalen McCutcheon. And you know the rule, Gus. You got to have possession and 2 feet. There's possession, and you see Jerome Payton take that shot. Didn't get that second foot back on the ground.
Ball thrown behind him. And McCutcheon in a lot of pain. May have a dislocated finger. They'll pull it out right there on the sideline. Second and 10 at the 47. Brooks out of the shotgun. Fenderson standing right next to him. Here's the draw play. Nothing doing. Hog-tied and taken down by Robert Griffith. A loss of 1.
And Gus, I think the Browns were bringing 8 men. Big blitz.
Boo Williams down on the field.
And you're going to see Robert Griffith come right into that gap. Perfect timing and make the tackle. Good call for blitz. Browns bringing the pressure.
So with 3:06 to go in the third quarter, the Browns continue to lead the Saints 21-12. 3:06 to go, third quarter, third down and 11 for the Saints at their own 46. Here's Brooks looking, caught. Joe Horn with the grab, dives forward. And Mr. Third Down picks up the first down at the 36, a gain of 19.
And, of course, the Saints being smart. Dalen McCutcheon off the field. Anthony Henry in for just the second or third time today. Joe Horn running that deep hook route. And Aaron Brooks was looking at him the whole way. They weren't going anywhere else. And Robert Griffith right there, touchdown saving tackle, hangs onto that ankle because there was nobody home.
Horn with 14 100-yard performances since 2000. 3 catches, 47 yards today. First and 10 at the 36. Brooks winding up, brings it back, throws it to Pathan. And Pathan gets about a yard. Dwayne Rudd bringing him down.
When Aaron Brooks is once again looking at Joe Horn going against Anthony Henry. And not that Anthony Henry can't play. Tied for the league in interceptions last year, one of the leaders. But when you're on the bench and you're not stretched, you're not warmed up, and you come in, haven't had a lot of snaps, played a few nickel snaps, you go ahead and take your best receiver and see how loose he really is.
Joe Horn came in our meeting with us yesterday. He was holding his right hand. I think he had a bruise on the top of his right hand. Here's Brooks looking. Stallworth goes up high, makes the catch, and brings it down. Dante Stallworth, a gain of 17. His first catch of the day, stopped by Earl Little.
And Aaron Brooks, a little pump fake, and Anthony Henry came flying up. Watch outside. Watch Anthony Henry move on the pump fake. And lucky for the Browns, the safety gets over the top because a little slant go could have been ugly.
Fenderson running it, and he gets to the 15 as time winds down. Under a minute to go in the third quarter. And Aaron Brooks having a big day, 19 of 30, 281 yards, no touchdowns though, 1 interception.
And I think they're going to continue to test Anthony Henry until he proves he can stop him.
Henry lines up with Stallworth at the bottom of your screen. Underneath, incomplete. Pathan losing his footing. Lewis Sanders covering on the play.
That's just an unlucky break. Jerome Pathan comes off the line of scrimmage and trips and goes down. Just lucky to get his hand up to knock the ball down.
Makes it 3rd down and 9 at the 18.
And when it's 3rd down time, you've got to look for Joe Horn. Coming into the game, had 19 third down catches. Tied for the NFC lead with 46 catches for first downs.
With conversions today, they need to go to the 6 for a first down. Brooks out of the gun. Taking his time. Sidestepping. So cool. So calm. Brooks into the end zone. Knocked away. Picked off. Picked off by Earl Little. And that's the 4th turnover of the day for the New Orleans Saints.
And Aaron Brooks knows better than to roll out and throw that ball back across the field. Gets out of the pocket and throws back across his body, and defenders can just converge. It's tough to get leverage on that ball. The ball just hangs up. You see 2-3 Browns there at the same time, and Little makes the interception. And you've got to give credit to Butch Davis's defense. They have really tightened up inside the red zone today.
Earl Little picks it off. That's the 2nd time the Saints have allowed the Browns to pick one off in the end zone. William Green wants to run it, spinning. And he gets to the 21, maybe the 22. And that takes us to the end of the 3rd quarter with the score. Cleveland 21, New Orleans 12. We'll be back to New Orleans after this message and a word from your local station. You're watching the National Football League on CBS. The Browns with a 21-12 lead. As you take a look at the scoring by quarters, they've been consistent through the first 3. Gus Johnson along with Brent Jones. The story in this game, turnovers. The Saints have turned it over 4 times, 3 inside the red zone. And here are the Cleveland Browns. William Green has been having a nice day running the football. Let's take a look at the game summary. We start with the rookie as he picks up his 2nd rushing touchdown of the season from the 1. And then it's a draw play for Dennis Northcutt. 14-6 at halftime. We go to the second half, and James Fenderson with his touchdown, the first of his career. And then it's Couch to his favorite target, Kevin Johnson, a 24-yard strike. And that's where we are right now, 21-12, start of the 4th quarter. 3rd down and 1 at the 29. Here's Couch under pressure. Couch standing, fires as a receiver, and it's caught. Darnell Sanders, the rookie out of Ohio State, 4th-round pick with a 9-yard gain, and they are really high on this young man.
And how about Tim Couch being able to stay in the pocket with defenders on his ankle, 3rd and 1, and what a block. Somebody got popped inside there.
I believe it was William Green in pass protection.
I think so. Stepping up and making the shot, delivering the blow, and Tim Couch having the presence of mind to stay with his receiver, big Darnell Sanders, and crucial 1st down.
1st down and 10 at the 38. Here's Green following his blocks, and he'll pick up a yard, maybe a yard and a half on the play. Let's go back to this play. Watch the block. 31.
Little play action. This is called pass protection when you're back. Bang. Wow. How about that explosion, that 6-inch explosion when you get your hands up and drive right through the shoulder pads of the defender. And what a shot. And you can just feel the confidence growing in this young man. You can see the way he's carrying the ball, the way he carries himself.
Certainly. 2nd down and 8 at the 40. Empty backfield for the Browns. They hand it off. Northcutt on the reverse. Tripped up. Nicely done. What a tackle by Brown. Fakir Brown. And that's a loss of 1 for Cleveland.
And that's an important tackle. The last time the Browns went empty backfield and motion Northcutt back there, they gave him the ball in the draw. And he went big yardage for a score. You see Fakir Brown getting penetration across this side of the line and tripping him up right away.
Out of Grambling. Local product. 3rd down 9 at the 39. They need to go to the 48 for 1st down. Browns are 4 of 9 on 3rd down conversions today. Couch down the seam. Incomplete, picked up. Fred Thomas bringing it back. Thomas with the block. And Thomas tripped up at the Cleveland 40. A 30-yard return. Thomas with a nice piece of running after the interception.
And Gus, sometimes things happen bang, bang down the middle. You see Northcutt take the shot, and the ball ricochets right off of his chest. And Fred Thomas is going to get some blocks down the way and make some nifty moves. Tim Couch gets taken out by Darren Howard. The Saints are right back in this. Whoa, and there's the hit that Tim Couch takes. And luckily, he bounced right up. But when you're a quarterback going after an interception, you got to be aggressive.
1st down and 10 at the Cleveland 40. There's a sharp throw from Brooks to Stallworth, and Stallworth taken down at the 33 after a 7-yard pickup. Earl Holmes with the tackle. So Deuce McAllister, who leads the league in rushing and is also the 2nd leading receiver on this New Orleans team, has a high ankle sprain. They activated him for this game, but he has not played 1 play, and the Saints do miss him. So it's pretty much been an aerial attack for this New Orleans squad, but they've stalled inside the red zone. Incomplete pass intended for Joe Horn. Deuce McAllister accounting for about 35% of the offense for this New Orleans team, and he has not played a snap today. And before the game, about 10 o'clock this morning, New Orleans time. He worked out that tender right ankle, had problems planning, but they tried to deke out the Cleveland Browns by activating him and saying that he was going to start, and he hasn't played one play. 3rd down and 4 at the 34. They need to go to the 30 for a first down. James Fenderson running it straight ahead. He comes up a yard to a yard and a half short of the first down. Tyrone Rogers with the tackle. What do you do right here?
Well, first of all, I don't run the ball on 3rd and 4 when we haven't been able to run the ball all day. I don't know about that call. And clearly you got to go for it. You're 9 points down, so you've got a 2-score game.
Here comes John Carney, though, onto the field.
Well, you do have a 2-score game, and that's a long field goal. And John Carney definitely has the foot to do this. Remember, they faked the Saints' biggest play of the day was a fake punt, getting a crucial first down and then eventually a touchdown. This is a 49-yarder. John Carney was kicking him at 53-54, Gus, in pregame warmups. And like we said, it's a 2-score game, so it's probably not a bad idea to kick the field goal here.
Carney from 48 yards out. They get it down. It's up and pure. John Carney with a nice little drop. And with 10:14 to go in the 4th, the Browns lead it 21-15. Welcome back. This young lady enjoying her first game with Dad, and she's seeing a pretty decent one thus far. 21-15, the scoring drive for the Saints. 4 plays covering 9 yards. Here's Davis inside his own 5. And Davis stacked up and dropped at the 21, an 18-yard return. Tim Couch coming back onto the field. 10-11 to go in the 4th. Carnival-like atmosphere in the French Quarter. 10-11 to go in the 4th right here. 21-15. The fans starting to get into this game. This is a huge game for the Browns. 8.5 minutes left. Cincinnati leading the division leaders, the Pittsburgh Steelers. A Browns win and a Pittsburgh loss, and Cleveland will take over control of the division. They're a half game out of the league coming into this game behind Pittsburgh. That tie for the Steelers 2 weeks ago versus Atlanta at home really jumping out. And if the Browns are able to hold on and the Steelers lose today, Cleveland will hold on to the top spot in the division. 2nd down and 7. Here's the pitch. Green squaring his shoulders. Green. William Green looks terrific. Gets to the 41, an 18-yard gain.
Well, I think that's the second time today that we've seen a toss outside, but you made the key comment, Gus. William Green squares his shoulders, and when this young man gets a full head of steam, he is as fast and quick as any back we've seen. Watch him get it, and he bounces it into the hole and just accelerates, and you see the Saints chasing from behind. He is much quicker than he appears on film.
The 16th overall pick is closing in on his first 100-yard game. An injured player on the field will be back right after this. Fred Thomas shaken up on the play. He's okay. Walked off on his own. 1st and 10 at the 41 for the Browns. They hand it off. Good misdirection there. William Green getting closer and closer to that 100-yard mark. Gus Johnson along with Brent Jones, and I tell you what, New Orleans has had opportunities, but this Cleveland defense, they've been bend but don't break.
Yeah, New Orleans, of course, 3 turnovers in the red zone, and this Cleveland defense has come up big every time, pressuring, and the intensity of this Browns team today just seems like it's at a season high. The Saints came out flat, and maybe they're looking ahead to Tampa Bay next week and had that tough game with Atlanta that they lost last week for the 2nd time this year, losing to the Falcons, and the Browns are ready to go.
Here's Green, and he's shut down at the line of scrimmage. May have lost a yard on the play. Norman Hand shutting the door. No gain on the play. William Green with 20 carries for 99 yards and a touchdown. And this is when a running game becomes very important.
Absolutely. Of course, controlling the clock. But Gus, right here on 3rd and 4, they've got to come up with a big pass play. William Green just came out of the huddle. James Jackson is in. Big 3rd down conversion here for the Browns. Kevin Johnson's usually the guy in these situations.
3rd down 5 at the 46. Here's the handoff. Jackson picks up the 1st down. They caught the Saints sleeping. James Jackson on the draw play, a gain of 8.
And I was thinking the same thing the Saints were thinking. Hey, William Green's out, and here comes Jackson on the quick draw, finds a hole, and you see the running room inside. Saints clearly expecting pass at that point, and Bruce Arians, the offensive coordinator for the Browns, doing a tremendous job today, mixing up the calls. And
last week he did a great job as well. 35 passes, 35 rushing attempts. Even Steven. 1st and 10 at the 46 out of the offset eye. And the Browns continue to run it.
And you know, the most important thing is that clock keeps ticking down, now inside 7 minutes.
And this is a very important game for the Saints. They're trying to keep in front of Atlanta and catch Tampa Bay. Atlanta just destroying Carolina today. They were up 41-0. Tampa Bay and Green Bay, a 4 o'clock start. And Tampa will come here and play the Saints next week. 2nd down 7 at the 43. Couch fires. Nice catch. Picked up by Steve Hayden. And Hayden gets out of bounds after a gain of 8.
And what a big catch by Steve Hayden. Only an 8-yard catch, but the ball delivered high. Had to get up and bring it in. And big 1st down inside Saints territory. The clock's keeping rolling, and the Browns can take their time in the huddle.
Browns with 305 yards in total offense, and the Steelers have taken the lead with 4.5 minutes remaining. 23-21. Cordell Stewart in for Tommy Maddox. Maddox may play next week at Jacksonville. Here's the stretch play. William Green turns a corner, fumble. Who's got it? The Browns jump on it. I believe Ross Verba was at the right place at the right time.
And both Ross Verba and Dave Wollabaugh were trailing the play, which is, as an offensive lineman, something that you have to do, because you just never know. And William Green, who hasn't put the ball on the carpet all day today, takes a shot on the ball. I think it was helmet on the ball. And there's just sometimes, by Fred Thomas, Gus, there's sometimes where that ball's coming out no matter what. There's nothing you can do, and that was one of those times. But Ross Verba right on top of it.
Fred Thomas shaken up once again. 5:27 to play in the 4th. 21-15 Cleveland. Welcome back to the Superdome in New Orleans. 5 minutes remaining in the 4th quarter. The Browns have the ball and the lead, 21-15. 2nd and 14 at the 39. Tim Couch back to pass over the middle. Caught at the 20. Another spectacular catch by Dennis Northcutt.
And Dennis Northcutt has been coming up huge all season for this Browns team, especially today. But how about Tim Couch? We've seen him stand in the pocket and take some shots. Look at that, get drilled, falling backwards, and that ball, just enough oomph on it, enough arm strength to get the ball to Northcutt. Was hanging for a while, but big catch. You're going to take a big shot, Jay Bellamy. But Gus, now the Browns are in field goal range, and 3 points puts you up by 9 and makes it a 2-score game. They can afford to run the ball, run time off the clock right here.
1st down and 10 at the 19. Browns running it, and William Green picks up maybe a yard. Green, 22 carries, 102 yards on the day. His first 100-yard game. And which offseason coaching change has worked out the best this year? Bill Callahan with the Raiders, Indianapolis' Tony Dungy, John Gruden with the Bucks, or Marty in San Diego? Cast your vote at NFL.com. Second down, 8 at the 17.
And Gus, I wouldn't even put the ball in the air right now. Just keep the ball on the ground, burn clock, and go for that field goal.
Here's Green trying to let his block set up for him. And he goes down at the 15. Pickup of 2. Roger Knight with the tackle. And both teams with a full complement of timeouts remaining. Not anymore. Coach Haslett wanting to take a timeout with 3:35 to go in the fourth. Coach Haslett has tried to keep his cool on the sideline this afternoon.
And he's had reason to get frustrated.
Yes, he has.
Dumb turnovers, dumb penalties, and the team that just came out a little flat. He's probably a little frustrated that Deuce McAllister isn't in the game, but here's a running back that's made something happen today. Young William Green. Over 100 yards for the first time. Congratulations.
I think they need to get some turf in Cleveland. Third down and 6 at the 15. Green again. Lowers his shoulder, and he gets to the 11. Short of the first down. They needed to go to the 9. And here comes the field goal unit.
And the Saints are going to go ahead and take another timeout, Gus. And that was just smart football, smart play calling by Butch Davis and the Cleveland Browns. Keep the ball on the ground. The Saints have to use 2 of their timeouts to keep some time on the clock. You've got one of the best kickers in the National Football League in Phil Dawson. 3 points puts you up by 9, makes it a 2-score game, and all the pressure will be on the New Orleans Saints.
Phil Dawson on the season, 17 of 20.
You know, watching both these kickers in pregame warm-ups, they're both making them from 55 yards away, splitting the uprights every time. I've never seen 2 more accurate kickers in warm-ups. These guys weren't even close to missing.
Phil Dawson, 5 of 5 on the season from 30 to 39 yards. This one up 29 yards, maybe 30. It's down, up, and good. So with 3:25 to go in the fourth, the Cleveland Browns, playing on the road, take a 24-15 lead. And the Browns have been able to come up with a little magic down in the Big Easy. October 31st, 1999, a day Browns fans remember well as time expired in regulation. Tim Couch heaves the Hail Mary, 56 yards to Kevin Johnson, who makes the grab. And the new Browns get their first win, 21-16, right here in New Orleans. And for Tim Couch, very consistent numbers today. 12 of 21, 182, a touchdown and 2 picks.
He's made some smart throws, obviously some pressure up inside. Be able to stand in the pocket most of the day and deliver the ball. And he's just a much different quarterback with a running game, the threat of a running game. The play-action pass comes into effect, and he's got some young playmakers on the outside now. And this, you got to start watching out for this Cleveland Browns offense.
On the other sideline, though, Aaron Brooks has shot himself in the foot a number of times. 2 interceptions. They've turned it over 3 times inside their own red zone, and that's been the big story. So Dawson kicks it away. Michael Lewis from the 1. Breaks it back. And he goes down at the 30, tackled from behind. A 29-yard return. Earl Little got him.
Lee in my fantasy golf team this week. I'm looking pretty good.
You have fantasy golf as well?
Yeah. Got to be in the sports, right?
Man, you got too much time on your hands. First down and 10 at the 30. Here's Brooks underneath. Catch is made at the 43-yard line. Boo Williams and the Saints are in the hurry-up offense.
Only one timeout left. Have to use the sidelines. Don't want to burn clock catching the ball over the middle of the field the whole time. Guys have to get up and get set. Sense of urgency is important.
One timeout and a 2-minute warning. Here's Brooks taking his time. Fires incomplete. Jerome Bathan, the closest man to the football.
And Gus, at this point, the Browns are just rushing forward, dropping 7, playing some zone coverage. One of the issues is you don't want to play too loose of a zone, that prevent style of defense. You still want your defenders in the ballpark, because when you play off too much, you give up big seams across the middle at 15, 20, 25 yards, and that's how you see teams get beat week in and week out.
Second down 10 at the 42. Brooks. And it's picked up again. Anthony Henry. Did he get it? Yes, he did. This kid with a serious nose for the football. His second interception of the day. And that's the 5th turnover of the afternoon for Aaron Brooks and the New Orleans Saints.
And watch Anthony Henry drive on this ball. Just comes right out of his break. We talk about receivers coming out of his break. Watch him stop and plant. You see him come back to the ball. Joe Horn was just waiting for that ball to get to him. He thought he had some clearance. But Anthony Henry breaking on the ball and coming right in front of Joe Horn and making the big pick.
So the Browns are 2:41 away from a huge road win. William Green gets it to midfield. The Saints have one timeout remaining and the 2-minute warning. Aaron Brooks. Horrendous game today, despite the passing yards. 3 interceptions, all coming at crucial times. He also fumbled once. Let's take a look at the mistakes.
You got a big part of this pressure. No Deuce McAllister, and you see the ball slip out of Aaron Brooks' hands right there inside the 20. Michael Lewis having the ball bounce off him. Big interception by Anthony Henry, keeping his feet in, and then Earl Little making the play when Aaron Brooks is throwing that ball back across the field, which is a major no-no, especially in the red zone. And there's a few of those balls that Aaron Brooks would like to have back today. But Anthony Henry rising to the challenge, making a couple of big interceptions. And this whole Browns team came out right from the get-go. You could tell they were ready to play. They were just on a different plane, I think, today than the New Orleans Saints.
Browns, and I think one of the keys has been this running game. The Browns finally getting it going. We saw it last week when William Green rushed for 96 yards versus the Bengals. And today, his first 100-yard game, 26 carries, 112 yards. The Browns as a team rushing for 162. Second down and 8 at their own 49. Here's Green again. Bottled up and taken to the ground. He may have lost a half yard on the play. Charlie Clemens with the tackle. So we take a look at the scores from other games. Atlanta destroying Carolina. And Pittsburgh now extending their lead over Cincinnati. Well, that takes us to the 2-minute warning with the score: Cleveland 24, New Orleans 15. It's all here tonight on CBS. Third down and 9 for the Browns. Here's William Green running. And Green stopped at the New Orleans 48 after a pickup of 3. No timeouts remaining for the Saints. 1:47 to go.
And if you're the Browns, you just let it run right down, take the 5-yard penalty, or use one of your timeouts with 1 second left. Burn every bit of that clock.
And yesterday I tried to get Coach Davis going. I wanted to get a little wager going with him, an injured player on the field, about who would win the national championship between the Ohio State Buckeyes, who won the Big Ten yesterday over Michigan and ended their regular season undefeated, and his former team, the Miami Hurricanes. And he told us, I will be dancing around that question
That's right. Don't sell him out.
Oh, no, but he has
lives
to.
in Ohio now.
He has to.
The lone Hurricane fan in Ohio.
Congratulations, though, to the Buckeyes. What a year. Coach Tressel. A tremendous job.
And how about this Browns team down the stretch? Of course, the Saints still fighting for playoff opportunities, but the Browns right back in the mix. As we talk about the dash for the cash, the last 6 games of the season.
The executive producers of the NFL on CBS are Sean McManus and Tony Pediti. Today's game produced by Bob Monsbach, who's been our anchor for 4 years, and directed by Mark Grant. The associate director of today's game is J. Brian Lilly. The associate producer, Andrew Kaplan. The coordinating producer of CBS Sports is Harold Bryant. And the technical manager, Doug Fleetum. The statistician for today's game, Russ Dillon. And the spotter, Ben Calhoun.
I think it's time to cut loose our anchor.
Yeah, we got to let him go.
Sail unfettered.
He's moving up
the waters
and onward. 1:36 to go in the 4th. 24-15 the score. Saints ready to get the ball back.
And Butch Davis is talking about the runoff because the Saints had an injured player and no timeouts, and they're actually going to run time off the clock.
The 40 seconds. Reset the play clock to 40 seconds. Thank you. Due to the excess timeout, the clock will start on the ready for play.
So 1:36 to go on the game clock. And the clock has started once again. So the Browns have 40 seconds to burn. They can take the penalty, back it up, and then punt it. And I think that's what they're going to do.
And smart football down the stretch by the Cleveland Browns, keeping the ball on the ground the last drive, playing for the field goal on the road, giving them that 9-point cushion. And Butch Davis, his Browns team came in today very focused. The attention to detail was there and played a solid, smart game. Not a lot of penalties. Just had guys making plays all over the field.
Timeout. Cleveland. It's their first. Charge timeout. 30 seconds in duration.
Big time win for the Browns today as they look down the road ahead of them. Some pretty winnable games. Carolina clobbered today by Atlanta 41-0. They'll take them on at home. Then at Jacksonville, a winnable game. The Jaguars losing to the Dallas Cowboys on the road today. Indianapolis, Baltimore, and Atlanta.
And I think the Browns, just looking at that schedule, stay right in this race right till the last week of the season. And they get on a little bit of a roll.
And Pittsburgh's schedule at Jacksonville next week, Houston, Carolina, Tampa, and Baltimore.
It's like a little easier schedule. They do have that Tampa game coming up.
Gardocki sends it away. Wobbly kick toward the sideline. Out of bounds, and it will be spotted at the 21. Let's take a look at the upcoming games for the Saints. Tampa next week right here, then at Baltimore, Minnesota, Cincy, and Carolina to wrap up the season.
When it just shows you what an important game today was for the Saints. Of course, the big one against Tampa Bay, and then obviously winnable games out the rest of the schedule. But might have been looking past this one just a little bit.
Coach Haslett without his biggest weapon today. Deuce McAllister didn't play one snap, although they activated him and listed him as a starter. Here's Brooks over the middle, incomplete, right through the hands of James Fenderson. 45 seconds to go.
And you know, at this point, if you're going to even have a chance to try to get back in this game, of course, take a miracle, but a score, you're going to have to use the sideline or chuck the ball downfield. A 5-yard route over the middle isn't going to give you a chance, and so might as well start airing it out.
Brooks again underneath. Anderson doesn't get out of bounds, and the clock will continue to run. Gain of 13. Don't forget, coming up next, the Franklin Templeton shootout. So the Browns will defeat the New Orleans Saints, and this will be the first win for the AFC North versus the NFC South this season. Henderson again fumbles the ball. Outfitting. Picked up. Sanders is dropped at the 21. And the Browns hold on. The 6th turnover of the day for the New Orleans Saints. What a sloppy football game for the hometown guys today.
Yeah, just never really focused, and sloppy was the key. Turnovers, penalties, and just a team that didn't appear too focused at a time of year where they really need to be. And you got to give credit to this Cleveland Browns. They came into this game with a chip on their shoulder, focused completely, knowing that they need this one to stay in the race. And they just dominated.
And a final, the Steelers have defeated the Bengals 29-21. Browns still a half game behind Pittsburgh. And Tim Couch will take a knee. And that'll do it. Butch Davis all smiles as he gets out of town with a very nice win. Aaron Brooks will want to bury this one and never think about it again. For Brent Jones, I'm Gus Johnson saying so long from New Orleans, where the final score is 24-15 Cleveland. William Green with a big game, 28 carries, 114 yards, and a touchdown. You've been watching the NFL on CBS. We'll have Jim Nantz and company for you after this commercial break.